Jim Harbaugh got the championship that eluded him in the NFL, and he got it in Ann Arbor in a season that was just ripe with controversy. I mean, he sat home in as many games as he actually stood on the sideline coaching due to suspensions from two different situations, one coming into the season, one developing into the season. That sign stealing scandal, which has not exactly been settled. The NCAA is going to, enact some discipline on Michigan this offseason. And maybe that's the reason why Jim Harbaugh would want to go back to the NFL. You know, it was described by one of his players what the options are. You know, Jim Harbaugh's coaching options right now, because the money is almost the same either way. He's been offered a $125 million contract to stick around Ann Arbor. And that's the kind of money he'd be making in the NFL. I mean, so his option, as one player put it, is cherry pie or apple pie. Like, either way, you get dessert. Jim Harbaugh, what do you want to do? You know, I think Jim Harbaugh is a true heart. He believes things, but I also think that he believes things that suit his position more than he just believes. I don't think Jim Harbaugh would advocate for something if he didn't think that there might be a little something in it for him. It doesn't mean he's selfish, but I think Jim Harbaugh is calculating. And he's always thinking what's best for me before he goes public with any position. And I'm not saying that's even a bad thing. You know, as my former broadcasting partner, Ray Ratto, used to say, if you're going to make a choice, make a selfish choice, because, you know, you should be concerned about you first and foremost. Very Ray. Very Ray. Since winning the national championship, and before he even won the national championship, Jim Harbaugh is talking about the NCAA in a way that doesn't make me think that he is more likely to go back to Ann Arbor than he is to be an NFL head coach this time next week. It feels like Jim Harbaugh is very pissed off by what happened to him by the NCAA this year. And he is not burning the house down, but he's at least flicking lit matches in the NCAA's direction on what feels to me possibly his way out. Now, if you told me that when Jim went home, prayed to whatever football gods he prayed to, and lays his head on a pillow and thinks about what's really the most important thing to him, being Bo Schembechler 2.0 and a made Michigan man forever now that he's delivered a national championship to Ann Arbor. If you told me that he just wanted to stay in Ann Arbor and be a god, I'd believe you. I'd believe you. But the way he's talking about the NCAA, it almost feels like he's sort of mentally divorcing himself from just what he's looking at. And he's doing it in a way that makes you say, well, boy, Jim is really an advocate for student athletes, and he is. But I wonder if he would be serving as such a public advocate for student athletes if he didn't think either this is going to help me out at Michigan, or, again, I'm going to flip this match at the NCAA on my way out. By the way, we pause for super chats when we do see them here on the crawl. Damon, thank you for being my new favorite channel, Glock Holiday. Thank you very much for the jingle jangle. It's going to go into the ganja jar, and it's wonderful to have you here, Glock Holiday. Thank you for being a part of this awesome community. We're glad that you have found me very, very much. Like it and subscribe it. Hit that notify, baby. So here's what Jim Harbaugh said about college athletes. Quote, "The thing that I would change about college football is to let the talent share in the ever-increasing revenue. We're all robbing the same train, and the ones that are in position to do the heavy lifting, the ones at risk life and limb out there on the football field are the players. It's not just the football players, student athletes. The organizations are fighting hard to keep all the money, the universities, the NCAA, the conferences, and it's long past time to let student athletes share in the ever-increasing revenue. It's billions," says Jim Harbaugh. "I keep reading how much money's being made. I can't put a can of soda up here. I got to put it in a cup. Everyone is maximizing every revenue source there is, but they're not sharing it with the talent. There's no business where that would ever fly. So I agree with every single thing he said, but that's not why I'm talking about it. My question is, why is he saying it? Is he saying it because he really wants to stay as head coach of Michigan and help really reform the NCAA and the way it compensates student athletes, and he's going to do it from the bully pulpit that is head coach in Ann Arbor? That's a big, big, big platform. You know, that's a monster platform. Now says defending national champions on whatever lectern he is standing behind. This is why is Jim saying this? Is he saying this because he's about ready to bolt? He's about ready to go? Is that what's going on here? I don't know. Again, I don't know how to bet on this. I don't know how to bet on this. You told me he stayed in Ann Arbor for the next decade, I'd believe you. You told me he was the Los Angeles Chargers head coach by Friday, I'd believe you there too. Chicago Bears could use a guy like Jim Harbaugh. A lot of football teams looking to rebuild a culture could use a guy like Jim Harbaugh. That's kind of what he does. I truly believe that he believes players deserve more. I also think he's trying to be and sound a little bit like Uncle Jimbo really, really cares. And he either really cares because he cares about the student athletes, which he does. I also think he cares to do damage to the NCAA, which he does because the NCAA is trying to damage his reputation by, catching him cheating, which he did. He cheated. I saw somebody say it's very apropos that Michigan's national championship is won in Houston, the home of the 2017 world champion Astros, who are, our lifetime, like all-time cheaters, right, to win a championship. I'm a big fan of Brett McMurphy, who writes for the Action Network, and he was talking about a cheating scandal and how it relates to Harbaugh, how it should help us frame a championship that, look, Michigan won that championship on the field. They were very good. They were a very good team all year. I'm not trying to take away anything. And you can also say everybody is stealing signs. Another way I've heard this whole topic put was the difference between the way your school might steal a sign and the difference in the way Michigan apparently went about it would be the difference in, okay, so a first period class takes a test and then tells the students who are going to be taking the test in the third period, like what might be coming up on this test. We just saw it. Here's what you might expect in your test. That's the normal level of sign stealing, where Michigan essentially broke into the teacher's desk, took the teacher's edition textbook, and wrote all the answers down. Either way, there might be a little cheating going on, but one is not the same as the other. So Michigan really did enact an elaborate, multiple-pronged sign-stealing scandal that goes well beyond a couple coaches were looking and couldn't help but notice that when, a coach did this meant blitz. There are some nuances to this, okay? A lot of gray area. So anyways, Brett McMurphy was talking about this, and an Alabama official that Brett McMurphy was talking to at the Rose Bowl, again, they're getting ready to play Michigan, and he was asked, this Alabama official, hey, you're going to play a team that, has gotten to this game with the specter of cheating looming over it. How do you feel? And Brett McMurphy's quote from this Alabama official is, look, everyone, and I mean everyone, is stealing signs. Michigan was not the only school doing this. And another industry source said Kansas basketball cheats more than anybody. And they didn't do anything to Kansas. But the only pure college program you're going to find out there is Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt sucks. This sounds an awful lot like what? Jerry Tarkanian's famous quote when he says, whenever Kentucky gets caught cheating, Cleveland State gets 2 years probation. Cheating is something that the big boys feel like is let slid a little bit more than some of the lesser programs are allowed to get away with. And it's all being done in the, names of the stakes are so high and everybody's doing it. And there you go. As Brett McMurphy writes, that's where college athletics is in 2024. If you're not cheating, you're not trying, or you're Vanderbilt. I mean, I love sports. I love sports and I hate sports all at the same time. Because as wrong as that is, there is so much truth in it. And what are you going to do? Can't deny the truth. There is an element to, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, that is so pervasive in sports that there's some truth to it. There really is.